Greetings and welcome to the 35th episode of Morrowind Modding Showcases. As always, I'm your host Elfkai, and this week we have, as we always do for odd-numbered episodes, a random selection of mods for your viewing pleasure. As always, you can find a download link for each mod shown down in the description below, along with a link to Abbott's mod list, a complete and comprehensive guide to all of the mods we've shown on Morrowind Modding Showcases. Now why don't we go ahead and get started with our popular mod of the week, which this week is Where Are All Birds Going by Abbott. This mod adds birds and other flying creatures that you'll now see flying the skies of Morrowind. And not just birds, but also butterflies. And these will all randomly spawn around Vvardenfell as you wander around. All these new creatures are interactable. That means you can kill and harvest them if you so desire, or just let them fly on by. With this mod, you'll be immersed into the world of Morrowind like never before, with over a dozen varieties of birds and butterflies occupying the skies, adding a ton of life to the landscape. As you can see here. Not only that, but you'll also find the occasional buzzing bee and other flying critters. Truly, Morrowind looks more beautiful than ever before with all this lush life. Of course, there's still more to this mod. At night you'll find fireflies dancing around along the roads and wooded paths of Vvardenfell. And these cast a rather nice glowing effect into the night sky, adding a sort of new set of blinking stars to gaze at during your nightbound journeys. You may even come across the occasional bat in the darkness looking for insects to eat. There's all of this and much more to be found in this mod. For our house mod of the week this week, we have Little Bug House by Failrin. This mod adds a small Rodarin-style hut to the outskirts of Aldrun. And inside is a cozy one-room home, with a scrib pet, as you can see here. Not to mention named storage for organizational purposes, a small alchemy lab and garden for ingredient gathering, and also a kitchen-like area. Naturally, there's also a sleeping area with some more storage, and it's just really a nice cozy home to live in. This week's gameplay mod of the week is Chalk by Mana User. With this mod, when you're talking to certain merchants, they'll now mention they have chalk you can buy. And you can use this chalk by equipping it in your inventory to change a variety of configuration settings. Or you can drop it on the ground to start writing right away. You can select from a variety of pre-made text options, or start writing a manual message. And this will bring up a menu of letters to choose from. Now, fair warning, manual messages may take a while to write, as you can see here. When you're finished, you'll have a complete message, which you can then adjust or rub out completely if you so desire. And for manual messages, you can only adjust the height, so you can make this levitate above the ground if you so desire. You can also use this chalk to write on walls by going to the configuration menu and selecting the walls option. You can then leave a number of pre-configured messages on walls like search later for a particular dungeon, which is particularly useful for organizing dungeons that you've already been to or might want to come back to later. With chalk you can even leave graffiti and jokes just lining the walls of towns. Indeed, with a full range of symbols, Latin and Daedric support, wall drawings, and 6th-house writings, you can truly make the world the canvas upon which you can leave your mark. And chalk just has so many options for different messages, you can just keep coming up with new stuff to harass the citizens of Vvardenfell. You can even find glowing chalk, which shows up great in the dark. That middle message, by the way, just says Dagoth Ur was here. With this mod you can really just be creative. Next up is our dungeon mod of the week, and this week we have In the Pit by Crankrilla. With this mod you'll find a curious set of rooms in the foreign quarter of Vivek, with a suspicious amount of blood on the floor. This place is evidently run by an Argonian, with a number of goods for sale. And you also find a lobby for a portal to a strange arena-like dimension. Once you enter the arena, you'll be attacked by a multitude of high-level opponents. These will be some tough fights, and you'll notice the arena is sort of watched over by a curious giant skull, as you can see here. You'll encounter a number of deadly, unique creatures, including the Slowed, like this one here. Not to mention flying opponents, which will attack from the heavens, and each time you enter the arena you'll find new opponents to face. Some of these will even drop blood trophies that you can then exchange for gold or other items. For our items mod of the week this week, we have Obsidian Armor by Ronin. In the Mournhold Craftsman Hall, you'll find a new merchant who sells obsidian armor, including a complete set with 3 different helms. Here you can see the new armor set with a closed helm, and as you can probably tell, it's pretty detailed, with a nice sort of black and gold trim. And here you can see it with a hooded helm, which comes across as a bit more menacing, and either way, this is a very stylish armor set to adventure around Vvardenfell in. This week's quest file of the week is the Vvardenfell Libraries by the Wanderer. This mod adds a new complex south of Ebonheart, home to new factions dedicated to books and ancient lore. And the complex itself is fairly sizable, as you can see here. Within this complex you'll find a large variety of services, from a small bookstore to other merchants that you can buy goods from. Not to mention a full-stocked library, including NPCs with new dialogue topics, covering a lot of the new books and factions added to the game. And indeed, a lot of the books in this library are completely new, and are either from Daggerfall, or made just for this mod. And you'll find dozens upon dozens of new books that you can peruse and read at your leisure. Eventually, you can join the Society of Intelligent Scholars, one of the 2 new factions added by this mod, and start going on various quests. You can also join the other faction at the same time, which sort of complements the Society, and goes on various quests involved with getting new books, and also getting new patrons. At the Society headquarters, you'll even find a number of unique rooms, such as the printing press. You'll also find new libraries all over Vvardenfell, such as this one in Sadrith Mor, with dozens of new books and scrolls cluttering the shelves, as you can see here. Next up is our Landmass Mod of the week, and this week we have Rothril Island Stronghold by DarkXO. This is a small landmass mod that adds a large Halalu-style compound to the game world, including a variety of well-decorated exteriors, as you can see here. Now, as you can probably tell already, it is a bit frame rate heavy, and I do apologize for the occasional stuttering here. And really, this mod is something of a blast from the past. Originally, it was released in 2003, and it was, a full disclaimer, one of my favorite landmass mods of the early 2000s. It really is fairly detailed, and this entire island basically acts as a large player home, providing a number of services for your personal comfort. Included are massive display rooms, with dozens of shelves for various knickknacks. There's also a number of other display rooms, like this one, including some with chests for additional storage. You also find a number of merchants with a variety of goods for sale, and up to 10,000 gold to barter with. Naturally, there is a central house to live in, including dining, a foyer, and some kitchen storage space. Not to mention a small bedroom for your personal use. And there's a central shrine room for the more religiously devout, where you'll also find a service NPC to teleport you around the island. This complex includes a number of other rooms as well, such as a scenic swimming pool down in the basement, where you can go for a nice swim, or just go fishing if you have Abbott's water life installed. And there's also healing baths, where you can relax and enjoy the garden-like beauty of the room. And speaking of gardens, there's also large alchemical gardens, where you can find a wide variety of plants to harvest for alchemical brews, or other potions. You'll even find a training room, with dummies to practice on, and an NPC trainer that you can challenge to a fight. Not to mention an archery range as well. And there's a massive banquet hall, capable of serving hundreds of guests. And further deep below the stronghold lies a large glass mine, as you can see here, including a small miner camp, where you can purchase and sell glass, and glass-like items. For our NPC Mod of the Week this week, we have Thugs and Louts by JMK. This mod adds a number of random hostile opponents to the wilderness of Ardenfell, for you to face and ultimately defeat. As you can see here. Similar to the hostiles, this mod uses leveled lists to add opponents of various strength and weapons to roadways and valleys of Morrowind. In particular, you'll find that these NPCs carry an interesting variety of loot on them. And you'll face a variety of opponents, from archers, as you can see here, to conjuring sorcerers, as you journey along in your adventures across Ardenfell. This week's new meshes and textures mod of the week is Shacks, Docks, and Ships Architecture of Ardenfell by Tidy. This is a major overhaul and replacer for the textures of the Shack, Docks, and Ships of Ardenfell, as the name of the mod might imply, giving them a crisp, updated, and high-resolution look. You might notice that they seem much more detailed than before, and decidedly less worn. In fact, they sort of have a sort of newish appearance to them. And here you can see the town of Outvalothy with these new textures. And again, it looks very crisp and sort of newish. And in particular, you'll notice that the ship here looks much different and visually improved from before, particularly along the hull. And here you can see a typical shack interior with these new textures, and it looks very much in the vein of original Morrowind. And here you can see a shack in a sort of different lighting setting, and I believe these textures include shack tables as well. Next up is our Modder's Resource Mod of the Week, and this week we have Shannon's Oven Fresh Castle Tile Set by Shannon. This resource package includes a large castle tile set with a wide variety of exterior parts, so you can make a ton of impressive and unique looking castles. Now it should be mentioned that this demo here is actually included with the Modder's Resource package, and you can check out some of these demo castles for yourself when you download the mod. And as you can tell, you can make a ton of different shaped castles with these resources, and there's all sorts of different towers and walls and ramparts that you can use. Now also included, naturally, is a large interior tile set, and you notice these halls and rooms seem a bit more grand in scale than their imperial counterparts. Naturally, a set of castle doors is also included, and with this tile set you'll be able to create some truly impressive interiors. Such as this grand foyer here. And you'll also be able to create large galleries, like these, where you can just imagine a king holding court with a variety of knights filling the chamber. And these are all perfectly usable in your own mods. For our underrated mod of the week this week, we have Prancing Ash Inn by ChakaZG. This mod adds a large new tavern to Seed Inn, connected via a bridge to the trade house. Inside is a fairly unique and cozy inn, where you can rent a room for a small sum of gold, something you couldn't do at the trade house next door in vanilla Morrowind. The inn itself has something of an interesting design, with a thatched tower adjoining it, as you can see here. And in total, you'll find that this inn has 3 floors in all, each one uniquely decorated with a number of side rooms for an ambitious thief to lockpick. And naturally, the room you can rent is complete with a little bit of display space, storage, and a bed. This week's Blast from the Past song of the week is Pocket Dimensional Home by Quote. With this mod, you'll find a mysterious tomb entrance in the swamps near Seed Inn. And inside is a large and strange tomb-like complex, filled with undead opponents to face. And as you can tell, it's all done in the sort of common Imperial tile set. This entire tomb is randomly generated, and consists of 10 levels for you to explore, fight in, and ultimately loot. And many of these levels have a sort of maze-like appearance. Finally, at the end of the tomb, you'll find the ultimate reward, the Pocket Dimensional Cube. With this, you'll be teleported to a strange dimensional home, a small pocket if you will, where you can set up base. The main building is a lighthouse, and fair warning, you may come upon the occasional undead spirit of Quote wandering these chambers. The lighthouse includes a small alchemy lab with named ingredient storage, working display activators, and a fan that you can turn on and off, as you can see here. On the other floors, you'll find additional display and storage space, including some more display cases on the top floor. There's even a working elevator that'll take you up to a treehouse-like structure. And this works in real time, so you can experience the slow pace of a moving elevator going up and down. And in this treehouse, you'll find a few activators where you can summon undead creatures to fight at various levels, as you can see here. Now there's a number of different level selections to choose from, so if you don't feel challenged, you can go for a higher level. And when you're done, you can dispel the creature by just clicking the activator again. Finally, for our bonus mod of the week this week, we have Tower of Voss by Melkor Dark. Now, what this mod does is both simple yet beautiful, vastly increasing the height of the Towers of Voss. With this expansion of Tel Voss, you can now appreciate the full epic scale of this Telvanni Imperial compound in the heart of the Grazelands. With lots of new routes, Imperial towers, and other miscellaneous details strewn about, as you can see here. With dazzling and soaring heights, you'll be able to see Tel Voss for miles around. As you can see here, the Tower of Voss truly reaches for the heavens, and provides an interesting and unique mesh of chaos from the combined Imperial towers and sprawling routes of the Telvanni. That's it for this week. As always, you can find download links for each mod shown down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, do please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week with another 13 mods for your viewing pleasure.